So now we're going to talk about the classroom environment and teaching students who are deaf-blind. What we know about students who are deaf-blind and what they will need to have a successful learning experience. They must have a trusting relationship with staff. You must follow the student's lead. Do with, not for. Their hands become the eyes and ears. Have routines, teach explicitly, and they need to be taught that people communicate, and they need to be given a communication system. The students must feel secure with the adults working with him or her. Each staff member should have an object or greeting and touch the student can identify them with. For example, wear the same watch on the same wrist and have the student feel the watch to identify that it is you. It should also be noted that every staff member should have a different object or greeting and touch with the child. You do not want two people to greet or have the same object when working with the student, or the student will become confused. Always approach the child with the same cue, for example, the watch. Never abruptly come up upon the child without identifying yourself. Your classroom environment should have the following components to be successful for the student. It should be organized and pleasant. It should make the most of every opportunity to learn. Remember not to change or move furniture often. Be sure there's an accessible path to each area for the student to navigate. Allow the student to explore the environment, and have centers marked with tangible objects so the student begins to associate the object to the activity. For example, a puzzle piece for the math table or a paintbrush for the art table. When you're delivering your content and curriculum, remember that not all strategies will work for every student. Activities should be motivating for the student. Backwards map the child's goal and the steps the child will need to do to complete the activity. Each one will need to be taught explicitly. Teach at a slow pace, as students who are deaf-blind need additional processing and learning time. Model the activity. Use hand over hand with the student. Follow the child's lead, and most important of all, look for the teachable moments. When you're considering choosing materials for your students, consider if the child is tactily sensitive. Consider the color of the materials depending on the child's vision. You may need to use a bright color or two contrasting colors. Consider the size of the materials and items depending on the vision loss. And the most important point on this slide, consider the interest the child will have in the materials. When presenting materials and activities to your students, remember to give your students extra time to explore the materials. Some children will need distance. They may need the materials very close to them, or they may need to sit near to the teacher or have things placed to the side depending on their vision type and loss they have. The lighting. Some students may benefit from additional lighting on an object, or the use of a light box, which you can place the object on and the light shines underneath to make it brighter. Consider the contrast and clutter. Children will see objects better when they are presented on a contrasting black background and with minimal print and pictures around it. For example, white text on black paper or black text on a white paper. Glare. Be careful on how the light reflects off of surfaces. Think about how sometimes you have to adjust your computer screen depending on the reflection of light. You must begin by developing basic skills for students who are deaf-blind. You can do this by working on concepts such as far and near, big and small, loud and quiet, hard and soft. Also work on sorting or identifying and recognizing objects. Develop concept of their self and others. Identify emotions and identify and recognize activities. The most important thing you can do for a student, and this goes for any student, not just ones who are deaf-blind, and that is make their experiences meaningful.